again and welcome back to Mimsy Park. This is the first video of the new year and we are coming in on the tail end of January. There's been some crazy stuff going on. I've gotten a lot more photography jobs. There is a good chance that come March of this year, I will be in the Dominican Republic filming a reality TV show. It's like 80% of the works, waiting on a contract right now. So like I said, a lot going on. I have not neglected this. I have not forgotten about it. But still gotta make a living, right? But on another note, and what brings me to our video for today is that we're going to be going up to see Mike the Finder. He is still in his house, still getting that all worked out. I believe he finalized everything and should be on his new big adventure very, very, very soon. He did tell me that he wants to do like a sit down little interview thing. I have no idea what he has planned. No idea, but I do know that if he's going to do that and I need to get a video out, why not go ahead and do it? So we're gonna go over there and get interviewed, I guess, and then maybe we're gonna talk some more. I don't know. We're gonna find out though. Here we go.
If you want to see an explanation for that, you should go watch my vlogs.
I have been watching your
boy.
vlogs. Okay, before we get into this interview that he wants to do, which I still have no details on whatsoever. First, we're gonna run over to what he calls his storage unit. It's a carport. So we're gonna go to the carport. Here we go. Oh my God.
Oh, right. You haven't seen it since Steven and I moved everything in here, have you?
No, I haven't. Jesus Christ. So what are...
Okay, so we're actually going to have to go around to the other side.
What do you can get in from the other side?
There's two doors.
I didn't...
Yeah.
Seriously though, there was walking space in here at one point. And...
Now you can see why I need to rearrange it.
yeah.
That looks really good. Okay. Say something?
Something. The sun is shining in the proper direction. The lighting has been set up proper. Oh, I can stop.
I actually don't trust.
I was gonna say that's why I didn't put mine on there.
At least if yours falls, it's just water.
What do I remember from the move from Arkansas to Colorado?
Yeah.
I remember driving a 26-foot U-Haul over a bridge of ice and almost running off the road. I remember being pulled over by the Newton, Kansas Police Department because the U-Haul place sold us a trailer that had no taillights. I
actually forgot about that.
I remember that. I remember this house feeling like this.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's
sure.
That's the really weird part. Talk about that for a second, because I've been having flashbacks about that too. Where
Yeah.
It's 5 years later. It's now back to a point of feeling like it did 5 years ago. And you haven't seen this place in a good while. So
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, it's well, because I remember when we first walked in this place, it felt gigantic.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us have ever lived in this before, and then you go downstairs and it's just this downstairs, so it seems even bigger when you get down there. And I think when we came and checked it out, they had it, oh, it almost had like that vibe of like you could do all this stuff with it.
Yep.
And then it quickly devolved into this realization, at least for you from a financial standpoint of, oh no, I have to fill all this. Oh no, because I remember going and like having to look for stuff. Oh, that's too small. What do you mean that's too small?
Yeah.
It's not too small? Well, it is for the house. Oh, for the house, not for us. Okay, I see.
That's a good point. Talk about what we lived in before this.
A trailer the size of, I mean, width-wise, the hallway that was smaller than that area right there. There was no sequential idea to the rooms. It was just you have a rectangle to work with, and so the rooms are just placed one after another as you go the length of the trailer. I don't have an issue living in a trailer. I liked the location we were in, except for the other part of the location we were in, which was just living on a walking trail.
Talk about what it felt like to go from a trailer to this house.
It felt overwhelming, not in a bad way, but just overwhelming in a new way. This is like the house that I would go over to like our friends, like when you go over to his grandparents' house and you're like, this isn't realistic. People don't, they're renting this or something. Like, and so like to go from that to this was, it was weird. The contrast was just, at the same time though, it felt almost like a breath of fresh air, because I think after living in that trailer for so long, it was just the area that we were living in and living in that, because it did feel cramped.
Oh yeah.
In that trailer, like it did feel cramped. And I don't live in a big house now that I've moved out, but it's still not a rectangle. It's like squares that have been put next to other squares, which is how you build a house.
Talk about what it was like to live in Arkansas for so long and then move to Colorado, what it felt like when we first got to Colorado.
It felt like getting out of jail or getting out of some kind of confinement, because as you put it, Arkansas is just this black hole that just sucks things, and it sucks life and joy, and again, it might just be because of our experiences, but I think it also has to do with age as well, because I think up till 45 Arkansas is a bad choice. I think 45 and after is when the things that make Arkansas appealing become appealing. Who cares about cheap medical expenses when you're 22 years old? Nobody cares about that.
So talk about what it felt like when we actually got here, because it was a huge life change as far as everything goes.
I feel like when we got here is when it really settled in how life is different here. Just plain and simple, it is different here. And you come and you visit and you think that, oh, life's different because it's colder and there's snow and you're in the mountains. And no, there are so many factors that go from economic to social to political to environmental. Life is just different here, for better or for worse, but life is just different here. And I think even after we got here, it took a while to really realize that.
You've recently been talking about going back to Arkansas. Explain to me the thought process of why leave Colorado, because I'm doing the exact same thing, and I'm just curious what your thought process is as far as not living in Colorado Springs specifically.
The thought process now, or the thought process I had before I got you on the phone and we talked for over an hour about it? Before it seemed appealing. Before, which I guess foreshadows how I feel now, but it seemed appealing because it's easy. Especially for me, it's easy because I've got family out there, friends that I had that I don't mind going back and talking to, versus people I once knew that I want nothing to do with anymore.
Right.
That's the problem though, is those people are out there too, and it's so small that you're gonna run into people from both those groups.
Yeah.
And now it's after you and I talked, because that was a very necessary conversation that needed to take place. Now it's more like, okay, how do we look at areas outside of Colorado Springs that achieve the exact same end result? And I don't have to leave Colorado. I think more importantly, I don't have to go back to Arkansas. like you made a good point when we were on the phone saying that, yeah, the idea of going back there and using it as a springboard to go somewhere else is a really good idea, but in reality, it has the very real potential to become something more permanent.
Yeah.
I hate Arkansas. I do. I hate it. The views of Brett Pittman do not reflect the views and opinions of Mike the Finder. Arkansas sucks. I hate Arkansas.
Okay, so now that we've talked about that, let's talk about me leaving. Sort of explain how all of this happened as far as your end goes, because my perspective is not your perspective, and how all of this has fallen together the way it is versus the way it was 6 or 7 months ago.
I mean, because when we moved out here, it was for a specific purpose. And now that we're looking at the areas that we're looking at, wherever they might be, it's still for a specific purpose. And I think at the core of all of it is moving forward. It is experiencing something, continuing to experience something, and constantly moving forward with experiences, life in general, which is really the point. It's like if we wanted to be stagnant and do the same crap over and over again, we're already in an area we could go get regular jobs and go do that. And so I think really at the core of all this decision making and everything that's happening, any decision at all, is the idea of moving forward in one way or another, however arbitrary the idea of forward might be.
Right. We've known each other since we were 14, 13?
Right around, yeah.
And we've basically have spent that amount of time being close to each other.
Right.
How is that going to change?
I think it's going to happen, and I won't lie, like, I'm not totally thrilled about it. Like, I think it sucks. When you move away, I'm going to miss you. Hands down.
Same.
I mean, it's just the way but you don't spend so much time being around somebody and developing a relationship that becomes more like a sibling relationship than, because I mean, like, we've had our fair share of fights. We've gotten at each other's throats before, and it's like squashed like that day. So yeah, it sucks, but I think it happens with people all the time, and it's just that's just a part of growing up.
Yeah.
If my dad still was roommates with his best friend from when he was in his 30s, it'd actually be kind of sad if you want to be.
Yeah, well,
want to be honest.
Yeah,
so
that's a real big part of this too. Let's talk about how you feel about where I'm looking.
Oh, I had such mixed feelings when you told me about where you're going, and I feel like you could really, even just that reaction, I feel like you could kind of like nip it down, like, okay, where do people go a lot? Okay, where does it suck? I didn't see it from the perspective I do now, just with the little amount of information you've given me about where you're going. And again, where you're going from a utility standpoint makes sense completely. Because really what it boils down to is this, and it's all a matter of propelling this forward, making it a more viable option from a financial and career standpoint. Certain aspects of it blow. But I feel like you could say that about anywhere. That's a perspective I have now that I didn't even have a few years ago.
Okay, one more question here. What does the future for you look like? Because I'm not going to be around to see it.
Right.
So what does your future look like right now at this moment in time?
Besides mooching a couch off of you for a vacation days?
Yes, besides that.
I don't know. And that, I hate that, and I love it at the exact same time, because there are like 45 states that I have not lived in. There's like 10 out of 45 of those that I don't even want to go to anyway, so I mean, that's not really fair. But that's the thing, is I don't know. Especially having actually built something feasible with like film and photography now, it leaves it more open, but also leaves it more closed off. I will say though, I have absolutely no intention of being stuck in Colorado.
Your foreseeable future is here, but long term, Colorado's out of the picture.
My foreseeable future is here only for the sake of not being here.
Okay.
Where I go next in Colorado will be for the sake of getting out of Colorado, only because again, the reasons for being here now are completely different from what they were when we moved here. And the things that I want to be here for now, I could honestly pick up, go somewhere else, and build it there too. At least from the photography standpoint.
Right.
It's too expensive here. That's a big part of it for me, is because it's too expensive here, and I don't have a career to fall back on that would allow me to supplement the cost of living here.
Well, I think at this point, pretty much anywhere worth living is going to be too expensive.
Right.
And that's sort of the problem.
Which is why when I look at houses in the middle of the woods in like Oregon, I go, when am I coming to visit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, plane tickets are very cheap. Plane tickets are very cheap where you're going, so it's not, I mean, probably as soon as possible, because there's something very nearby that I want to see very, very badly that I've never seen before. And I think it'd be a hell of a lot of fun to go film down at the beach.
Let's talk about, real quick, let's talk about the cat. So you've been watching my cat for, it's been like 3 or 4 months at this point, I think.
Yeah. How long is it supposed to be?
Way shorter.
Full disclosure, it's not an issue. We love having her over there, so it's not a problem.
So how is she coping with all the animals and the new place and all that stuff?
It's really funny that you think she interacts with the other animals. That's hysterical. I think she's gotten better.
Really?
I think she's gotten better. I think she's become more social. She, granted, she only comes out to sit right on top of the living room vent when the heat's on. I kid you not, the heat kicks on and this cat comes out from under the futon she lives under. She sits on that vent and she will let you do whatever you want. I'll sit there, I'll pick her up and she'll do that thing where she goes limp and she just But I really think being around other animals has helped her be social.
Yeah.
Because we have a dog that has absolutely no sense of boundaries whatsoever. She still spends a lot of time she doesn't come out nearly as much as she did here.
Yeah.
And I know that one of your concerns has been like, is she going to remember me type thing? I'm telling you, I really don't think you have that problem. I think once she sees you, it's going to be like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at the end when they finally get out. It's going to be just like that. You don't know where I've been.
That's really funny. All right, well, cool. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tuesday, if you have the time, I would like to meet up at Red Rock Open Space. And we'll do some shit there.
I don't have a real job anymore, so. Yeah, sure.
So, okay, cool. Well, thank you. And this was fun.
Absolutely. We're back at the house. I have eaten. We went over, we saw Mike the Finder today, and this is a good visit. It was really the first time we've really kind of touched on the move and everything. It's the first time he's really asked me how I feel about the whole thing, and like I'm really happy that he's leaving. Not happy that he's leaving, but happy that he's moving and moving on to bigger, better things. But I think I've said it before on here. I'm gonna miss him. We've been best friends since we were like 13 years old. We've been roommates for probably close to half of that altogether. So yeah, it's a little bittersweet for me. Like I'm happy that he's moving on to bigger things, but I am gonna miss him. It was really cool because it allowed you guys to kind of like see something a little more personal from my side. Who knows? I might start doing a little more personal episodes, stuff like that, letting you guys in a little bit. I honestly just don't know if anybody cares about that kind of stuff, so we'll see. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Did finally break 100 subscribers. We're up to 101, I believe, as of the filming of this video, and I'm pretty stoked about that. I am really stoked about that, but more so than that right now, I am exhausted. I am so tired. Been working since about 6 a.m. You guys know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment. Definitely subscribe if you have not already. Get those numbers up a little bit more, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.